Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Joe at Colab Garage, and we're in our brand new to us Nissan Stagea Autech version 260RS. It's a mouthful, but when I saw this car and I started kind of looking through what I would want to have as a daily driver to like midlife crisis shop owner car, this was it for me. It's, you know, the R33s, 34s, 32s, love them. I kind of love the 32 the best just because it was the original, you know, Godzilla, the car that went out there and kind of reset the bar for everybody back in the end of the 80s, early 90s, and then that car just evolved. And obviously, you know, as you guys all know, we're all car guys. We all wanted that car, but it never came here. Well, now that these things are becoming legal, the R34 is almost gotten to the point where it's unaffordable, especially if you want a GT-R. Well, I would only want a GT-R. Having been in the R35 platform for so long and doing so many things with that platform, I couldn't have anything less than GT-R, just for me personally. I know you can take one and convert it and do all that stuff.
You get to keep that cool
and
crossover.
We'll probably do some of that here in the future with some other builds. But for my first foray into this arena, I wanted to do something just a little bit different. So the Stagea is a R33 GT-R station wagon. I mean, for those of you that aren't familiar, the Autech brand is somewhat similar to Nismo. So they were kind of one and the same. Now Autech, nowadays, they're more of like a styling and enhancement company. They aren't as much what Nismo is today with actually making performance parts. But back then, when this car was made, they were doing some pretty cool one-off stuff right off the showroom floor. So what they would do is take an RS4 Autech or a Stagea off the production line, and then they would transplant everything about the running gear of an R33 GT-R into this car. So you get the RB26 twin turbo, you get the all-wheel drive system, you get the all-wheel steering, and you get the brakes and a few other things, plus some very unique styling. All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the performance of this car. It is, like I said, an R33 GT-R in a wagon's body. And I think what most people find, if you ever get an opportunity to drive any of these cars in nearly stock form, they're pretty underwhelming compared to today's standards. I mean, they're not like rocket ships. It's not like a stock R35 GT-R that makes 425 to 460 horsepower at the wheels. This thing is probably lucky to be making 220 to the wheels on in stock form. Now this one looks like it has a few parts on it. It has a Fujitabu, I think that's how you say it, catback exhaust, and it has some Group M pod filters on it. And I'm assuming it has a tune because it also came with a HKS EVC boost controller that was of the time. So the car, it's quick, don't get me wrong, but it's not what you would expect a car like this to be. So we'll be making some changes there. The goal for the car, like I said, an OEM plus feel and to modern standards. So to me, that's in that 500 to 600 horsepower range, which is what the RB26 can safely do. Can you push it beyond that? Yeah, you can. But we're probably not. I want this thing to be what somebody could expect to do on their own if they don't want to crack into the engine. Now, at some point, like we all do, we probably will eventually go there. This thing would probably be awesome at 800 to 1,000 horsepower. But the current plan is definitely not to do that. Now, talking about the handling, this thing is pretty awesome for a station wagon that can do this with the all-wheel steer. I know almost everybody deletes the all-wheel steer on these cars, but it's still working on this thing, and it's stock power. It performs the way it's supposed to, and it carves around corners like nobody's business. You know, on these back roads in the Atlanta metro area and north of Atlanta, where there's some nice twisty, you know, foothill mountain roads, it's a blast to drive with the manual transmission. It's quick. The steering response is very direct. The gearbox is very direct. All the things that you hear people talk about on these older cars and why they love older cars compared to the new stuff, I mean, I get it. But the new stuff is just so good. You know, some of that can be masked by the fact that the cars can just do amazing things that these older cars can't. But if you like to drive your car and feel, you know, the steering input when you go around the corner, the hydraulic steering and the directness of the turn in, and the gearbox, this gearbox, for being a 1998, it feels like I'm directly connected to that thing. There's no slop in the shifter. It just feels like it's going in gear. The clutch feels great. Everything about the car feels great. Just needs a little bit more, and that's what we're going to end up doing to it. So this is a version 2, which has a little bit different front fascia on it than the version 1s, and there's only 1,780, give or take a few, of these cars that were ever built, and in the version 2, only about 700 of them. So this, to me, is a pretty rare car. It's pretty affordable for what you get. Now, it is about 3,700 pounds, so it is 200 pounds or so heavier than a GT-R, but the practicality of this is what did it for me. This is going to be like the fun daily driver car when I don't have to drive the shop truck around, and I want to get in the car, have some fun, but have all the capability of taking people with me, moving some parts around. And you know, for somebody that might have a family, this is perfect. You know, everybody loves a cool station wagon, and for me, at least from Japan, this is the station wagon. Now, in Germany, they have their shooting brake Mercedes and E-Class, and then you have the RS6, which, you know, we'd all love that. But if you're a JDM person, this is the one. So I had to have it. We got it just a little bit ago. Now, when I went up to Duncan Imports, is where I scooped this one up from. They have a great reputation. They only seem to bring in nice cars. This thing was nearly perfect. I didn't need to spend a bunch of time fixing rust and fixing problems on it. Now, there are a few problems with it that we'll be addressing in some upcoming videos. The only thing that was a little bit disappointing for me was I had to drive this thing home in a torrential downpour. So I didn't really get to enjoy the car until we got it back. And I knew that the car would be good, and any little things that were wrong with it, we'd be able to fix at the shop. So the bones of it were good. There was no rust anywhere. There's one little spot on the corner of the door by the mirror. Now, it's not in the normal spot where the Stagea's rust underneath the mirrors or on the strut towers. All that was perfect. Underneath the car, not a spot of rust. So any mechanical issues I was good with. Now, I did notice that the car, when you would get in on throttle, it would kind of drop out and misfire. And I figured maybe it was either tuning with the fuel that was in it or ignition. I tend to think it's probably ignition. So we'll be picking up a coil on plug R35 kit to be able to solve that problem. And then we'll address a few other little mechanical things, some of the cosmetic stuff, and we're going to be ready to turn this into our next project car. So what does that mean for the channel and for you guys? That means this is going to be like an OEM plus build. I'm not trying to make this into a race car. We got plenty of those, and let's just be honest, this thing will never be as fast as the R35s that we build. I mean, I'm not even going to try to go there. What's the point? I mean, we're going bottom 7 seconds at 200 miles an hour. To do that in an R chassis, or a Stagea for that matter, would be pretty cost prohibitive. I'm not trying to do that. So I want this build to be like the ultimate daily driver street car with like a resto mod flavor, like an OEM plus. Like, this is how this car would be built today if you could buy it new with modern technology, but keep the old look and feel of the car at the same time. So we're going to blend a little bit best of both worlds and take you guys along on the journey with us. So I hope you tune into the series. There's a lot of announcements we're going to make about what we're doing with this car. We've already got some partners on board to help us modernize the car and show you guys how we would do it. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that are building our chassis cars and restoring them, and we follow all their channels, and we want to show you guys what we would do if we had our hands on one of these things. So we hope you follow us along the journey, and we're pretty excited about it. So leave a comment below. Let us know what you might do if you had one of these, or what you think we should do to ours. And I think you'll be surprised with some of the decisions we're going to make. We're really excited about this project, and I can't wait till you guys to see the series that'll be coming out here. So with that, we'll see you guys on the next video.